Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Shelly with Art for My Table. Welcome to my kitchen. Happy Good Friday, actually. Yes, it's Good Friday. So today we are going to make some overnight oats, and my latest one is a carrot cake variation, carrot cake overnight oats, but it's actually healthy, good for you. So, but so is carrot cake, right? Because it has carrots in it? Not necessarily. So we are going to do that, and then I'm going to show you some other variations and just how we make it work for us. So anyway, before I do that, I just need to link the recipe and all the information for you. So I'm going to do my little bit of housekeeping that I do. Hi, Marianne. And then we will get right into it, and I'm going to show you 4 different varieties today. So if you don't know me, I have my website is artformytable.com, and I basically love to share recipes and help you get dinner on the table. So that question of what's for dinner, or even what am I going to eat next? So that's what I like to do, and let me just do this quick housekeeping thing and get this going, and then we will get started. I'm drinking my coffee this morning because I'm cold, even though it's officially spring. Not so much here. So let's just get this going here. I'd love to know where you're watching from while you're just waiting for me to do this. And have you had overnight oats before? Have you ever taken the time to make it? Okay, so sorry, I had this issue last week too. Okay, here we go. Now I can do it. Last week it was giving me a little bit of an issue, so. All right, almost there. Thanks for your patience, you guys. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Hi, buddy. Mom Files. Ah. Okay. Mom Files. I know your name, and it is escaping me right now. But hello, and thank you for popping in and saying hi and watching. Hi, Lauren from Orlando. Oh, where it's nice and warm, and where the rest of Michigan is, by the way. Gulf Shores, Alabama, or somewhere in Florida is pretty much where our state packs up and goes to on spring break. Today is the first day of spring break. So, okay, it's Shelly. Oh, duh. Like I should totally be able to remember that since that's my name too. Okay, I feel like a really big dork right now, but anyway, okay, so we're gonna make some overnight oats, and we're gonna do carrot cake, which is my new flavor. I just can't get enough coffee today. Okay, so I love overnight oats because there's so many variations, and I love it because it's make ahead, so it's perfect to just, if you're a grab and go type of person in the morning, like you just need to get out to work or get somewhere, it's so great just to grab it and take it with you. Even as a mid-morning snack, they're just really delicious. Or just to have it ready. For myself, a lot of times the kids like to have them because they just get up in the morning, they grab it, and they eat, and there's just a lot less commotion going on in my kitchen. But I do love it because there's so many different things that you can do. It's endless. So I'm going to share with you the base recipe, and then I will give you 4 variations, if that makes sense. So I like to make them in just these little 8-ounce mason jars that have tops on them, but you can use any jar or container that works for you. You can put it in a little dish and cover it with saran wrap if you want to. So, good morning, Martin. Good morning, Kristen. Okay, here we go. So, the base recipe is a 1/4 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. So we'll start with that, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that in each of my jars. And if you need gluten-free, then just make sure you're using gluten-free oats. And then the next thing that we'll add after the oats is, I think I do milk second, and it helps it blend a little bit better, and then the yogurt. So we'll do that. Now you can use any type of milk with this. So these are for the kids, so I'm gonna go ahead and just use regular milk. It's great for them to get their dairy. I oftentimes will use almond milk, or you can use cashew nut milk, you can use coconut milk. One of my variations is like a toasted coconut, and sometimes I use regular milk with that, and sometimes I use coconut milk just for a little bit more coconut flavor. So let me pause a second and catch up on these comments. Kristen loves overnight oats and carrot. I know, right? Like carrot cake, everything, yum. And it's just so carrot cake season right now. And Shelly says, my 10-year-old eats oatmeal every single day for breakfast. What a good 10-year-old, because that's good for you. It's good for them. We eat oatmeal a lot too. Okay, so I'm doing 1/3 of a cup of milk. And again, super versatile because you can use whatever type of regular milk or nut milk that suits your fancy. Suits your fancy. Where am I from? What does that sound like? I don't know. Kind of dorky. I am kind of cheesy. So, okay, Martin, we will see you later. Good luck doing your errands. Kristen says coconut milk is great for carrot cake, but I love regular milk and do half and half. Those are awesome suggestions. So yes, coconut milk would be really good in carrot cake. Okay, and then I'm going to add my yogurt. So it's 1/3 cup of milk and then 1/4 cup of yogurt. And I like to use just plain, non-fat Greek yogurt. It's thicker. And the Greek yogurt has a lot of extra protein. Now, another thing that I will add to this, which is just completely optional, is some protein powder. So when I make it for myself, I try to eat a high protein diet. So I will add some extra protein. I'll either use collagen, or I will use 100% whey isolate protein. You want to make sure that you get that, and that is just all natural protein. It doesn't have any sweeteners in it or any anything artificial, any preservatives. It's really good. And what I love about it is it's pretty much flavorless. So a lot of I know there's like a lot of great yummy protein powders and stuff out there, but sometimes they taste like, I don't know, like they just sort of have this weird aftertaste. And I think people that consume protein powder on a regular basis are totally used to that, so it's not a big deal. But for me personally, I just prefer something that's more flavorless. Plus, it's better for you, and there's, like I said, no added ingredients. 100% whey is the way to go. Thank you, Kristen. Whey is the way to go. Were you trying to do that? You're funny. Hi, Julie. Oh, yes. Yogurt is fab. Fab protein. I love overnight oats too. We definitely eat them more in the warmer time of year than the colder, because I want something hot to warm me up in the morning when it's cold outside. So oftentimes we'll just have hot oatmeal, which is also really good. Okay, So the last piece of my base recipe is chia seeds. And honestly, depending on which recipe I'm doing, sometimes I add like a half a tablespoon, sometimes I add more than that, sometimes I add a teaspoon. And for some of you, maybe it just matters what your diet is. Like I often follow, most of the time, I follow the Trim Healthy Mama plan for the most part. And so, where's my half a tablespoon? I'm gonna do a half a tablespoon today. Here it is. That is a diet that, I don't like to use the word diet, but it's a plan that is actually anchored with protein. And then you are gonna pair that protein with either a healthy fat or a healthy carb. So some of these things like seeds, you have to be careful because of the amount of fat, be it healthy or not, and carbs. You really want to weigh on more on one side than the other, and there's a science to that. So, or a method, maybe not science, but there's like a method. Hey Michelle, thanks for joining us. So I'm gonna do a half a tablespoon in these, and chia seeds are really good for you. You guys probably know that already. My husband used to just put them in water and let them sit for a little bit and then drink them before his run for like extra perseverance and stuff. Okay, so that pretty much is my base recipe. And at that point, I'm gonna start doing my mix-ins now, but you can either shake these up to mix them or just stir them. So, you know, this, pretty simple. And it gets it all mixed in, and I will stir it again after I have my mix-ins. But this just kind of starts to get stuff distributed. Shelly, that's a good question. Can you heat this? I don't see any reason why you couldn't heat this. The idea with overnight oats is, you know, the oats and with this too, the chia seeds need to absorb that moisture. So it's real liquidy right now. And then after it sits overnight or for a few hours at least, then it gets nice and thick. So I mean, you could totally just heat it up if you wanted to in the morning. But that's what I said to you. I mean, I do like a hot breakfast, especially in the winter, but in the summertime we eat them and we really enjoy them cold too. So now I have those mixed up. And another note I'll make on this too is sometimes if I'm making the same flavor for all of my kids or all of my family, then I often will just like multiply the recipe and just make it in a big bowl and mix it all together and then pour it into my jars. So when you're kind of doing a larger batch, that's an easier way to go. But when I'm making different flavors or I'm just making a couple, then I oftentimes will do it just one by one. Okay, so Kristen says her son heats it all the time. So thank you for putting that in there, Kristen. Okay, so our first one we're gonna do is the carrot cake. And I have to just shred up a little carrot. So I'm gonna set these aside. And you know, these are really versatile as far as like how much of the ingredients that you want to put in there. I mean, if you want a whole mess of carrots, go for it. Can you guys hear me? You must be able to hear me because you're responding. I just realized I didn't put my microphone on. Don't you love live video? Okay, I'm gonna grab it. Maybe it's just picking me up. Hello? Maybe it's picking me up from being on the floor at my feet. So this is my life. I'm like crazy lady. So give me a sec here. This is also my makeshift microphone that doesn't have a clip on it, so I use a paper clip. So how awesome and professional is that? Yes, I'm the next Food Network star with my makeshift. Okay, not true. So here we go. I'm just using this really fine part of my four-sided grater because I want nice fine shreds. But you can use these bigger ones if you like that. You can purchase the pre-shredded carrots that oftentimes people will use in like a slaw or just a salad. So it's really optional, but I like this one. And then whatever you don't use from this in your overnight oats, you can use in your salad or whatever. Thank you, Julie. I'm glad you can hear me. I figured you could because you guys were talking to me. But all of a sudden I realized, oh, I don't have my dorky microphone on today. I just know the sound is typically better. All right, so I just use like a couple tablespoons, and whenever I'm doing my mix-ins, I always mix some of it right into my overnight oats, and then I reserve some for just topping it off right before I eat it. So for this one, get that out of the way. I have some carrots here, so I'm just going to drop these in. And then I also have some pineapple that we're going to add to it. And I usually do about a tablespoon of each of these, and then I'll do more on the top. It's spring break and I have kids home today, so I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. Mommy's on live, okay? Can you get back to your job? Sorry about that. All right, so there's some pineapple, and then I'm gonna add some coconut. Thanks for your thumbs up. Is it spring break for everybody? You guys that are watching must be sticking around, or you're sitting on the beach watching me. So I'm gonna add some coconut, and then I'm gonna add some chopped pecans, which are not out. I'll be right back. Okay, so same thing. I just do roughly about a tablespoon of each. And just depending, if I'm doing only one flavor, like some of the other ones that I'll do, then I might use less than that. So. Add in some pecans, and then we want to add in some cinnamon and nutmeg for this. So cinnamon, I do, you know, about 1/8 of a teaspoon. You can do more if you want to. And then I'm also going to add some freshly ground nutmeg, which I know that my friend Kristen is a big fan of freshly ground nutmeg, just like me. So she would say, if you don't have nutmeg that you can freshly ground, just leave it out. That's what she would say. Am I right, Kristen? Tell me if I'm right. And I'm just using a microplane to grate this into here. So you just hold it over the top and you can just grate a little bit in. If you ever need to or have the desire to measure it, then I just flip my microplane the other way, and then I have to switch hands. And then I'll just grate it this way, and then it will collect in there. I don't know how well you can see that, but it will collect in there. And then I'll just knock it in that way. Excuse me, one moment. Yes.
I burned my hand really bad.
Oh no, do you have like a serious burn?
I don't know.
Okay, you know what?
It's just in that spot, but it hurts and I can't do anything.
Okay, I think it's gonna be okay. Since it's not like an emergency where I have to take you to the hospital, can you maybe just take a break and let me finish here?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, yay for spring break! Okay, he's usually my helper in the kitchen. I'm sure you guys have seen him before. So, he's out working in the yard. Okay, so now I have all of this, all of my mix-ins, and I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a stir. You can shake it again if you want to. I just kind of prefer to do it this way. So, then I get it kind of evenly mixed through. And then all you need to do is throw a top on this and pop it in your fridge, and then it will be ready for you in the morning or later on if you can't wait that long. So then what I'll do is, after I take it out, and I'll show you, I have one prepped to show you already, so I'll show you that at the end, but I'll just take it out and I'll add some more garnishes and stuff to it, more of the ingredients. So there's one, yay! Easy peasy. Okay, next up, let's do our apple peanut butter. How does that sound? Do apple peanut butter next. So for this one, I just need to chop up an apple, and I didn't want to do this ahead of time because you know they do brown. But what you can do if you're making these up ahead of time is just put your apple, like once you dice up your apples, just put a little lemon juice on them, and then that will keep them. But what I found is, as long as I'm making it and I get all those apples shoved down into the oatmeal mixture, it's not going to brown. So, and by the time you get the peanut butter and everything in there the next morning, you can't see it anyways. So I don't usually take the time to do that, but it is an option that you have. So these I'm just going to dice up. And I usually do about 1/4 cup of fruit when I'm doing the apples. And let's do some peanut butter. Big jars of peanut butter at our house. Kristen, what's genius? See, I can't remember what I said 5 minutes ago. Yummy. I love peanut butter. Now, if you are somebody that loves peanut butter, but you would rather like have the less fat version, you can use peanut powder. And I really like the Trim Healthy Mama brand because it's very pure. It's just peanut flour, but that would work well in here too. There are other brands on the market. I'm gonna do a little more because I love it. There are other brands in the market. The thing that I've found is, for me personally, I just prefer one that's just peanut flour that doesn't have sugar in it or anything else, and many of them do. So I always read the ingredients on those. And I do like to add a little bit of cinnamon as well to my peanut butter and apple one, because yum, I love cinnamon. And again, there's so many different ways you could variate this. Measuring your spices upside down. Oh, thank you, Kristen. So I just got peanut butter on my computer. Because I'm using this as a monitor just to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Can you see what I'm doing? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm sure you would tell me if you couldn't. So there's that, and now I'm going to put my apples in here. And then I'll just push them down and make sure that they get nice and mixed in there with everything else. And I've been putting like my spices and stuff in when I put my mix-ins, but you can do that before you add like your big pieces of chunky fruit and stuff if you want to too, and shake it up real good so that it's all mixing through. It still mixes, but sometimes that's just easier. Okay, so get a little more apple in here. And then when this is ready in the morning, I would top it off. I would just cut up some apple and top it off with that. You can even drizzle peanut butter over it and make it look really pretty. So there is number 2, apples and peanut butter. Okay, next, let's do toasted coconut next. I also use a lot of my Mexican vanilla extract is almost gone. So if anyone's going to Mexico, can you please bring me back some Mexican vanilla? I often will add that to my creations as well, just because it adds more flavor. So this next one is toasted coconut, and it's really easy. Make your base. And then all I'm going to do is add some coconut extract and some toasted coconut. So that'll have really yummy flavor. And I'm going to put a little honey in there too. So that's another thing that's sort of optional as far as how much you want to put in. It kind of, for me, just depends on how sweet or in season the fruit happens to be, because if it's sweet enough, it really shouldn't need any more. But this time of year for us, like berries and stuff like that aren't, and I didn't use coconut milk in here, I just used regular milk, so I am going to add some honey to it. Just a teaspoon or so. And then I'm going to add in my toasted coconut. So to toast your coconut, all you need to do is just spread some out on a baking sheet, and then I just put it in the oven at 300 for 5 minutes. And then it gets to be this nice, beautiful, kind of light brown or golden, I guess, color. So that's really easy too. This one would be really good with some pineapple in it as well. All right, and then our last one, I'm just gonna do a berry. I have blueberries and raspberries right now. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna add some honey. Kristen, you volunteered to go to Tahiti to get me more vanilla. Yeah, I'll take it. It'll work, but I think I would want to go with you. Do you think I could justify that trip? Mommy has to go to the store right now in Mexico, so I'll be back next week with some vanilla extract. All right, which I'm also going to add to this. You really only need about 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon. See, it's almost gone. I'm afraid I'm gonna over pour. 1/4 to 1/8 of a teaspoon of this, because it does have just a lot of flavor. So you don't need much in just this tiny jar. And now we're gonna add some berries. So, what do you need, Shia?
I was just gonna ask if you could ask them if they were going on spring vacation, because I'm curious.
Oh, so my daughter, why don't you come over here and ask them?
Okay. Are any of you going on spring vacation?
All right.
Or are you on spring vacation?
So if you're going on spring vacation, tell us in the comments where you're going, or tell us staycation, one of those. And I will add, I'll keep you posted on what they say, all right? So now I'm gonna add my blueberries and raspberries. This would be great with strawberries added to it, whatever. Blueberries and raspberries are two of my very favorite berries. I do love strawberries too, but in Michigan, summer is when we have really good fruit. So we just kind of eat seasonally and eat them like they're going out of style, enjoy them like crazy, and then we'll have them again next year. I mean, I'll have them during the year too, but they just don't taste quite as good. Can you guys see that okay? All right. So there's our berry mixture. And now I have 4 of these all ready to go in the fridge. So I'm going to have some happy children tomorrow that will have different overnight oats. Maybe what might happen is we might fight about what flavor we get. Let's hope that doesn't happen. So there we go. Okay, so let me go to my fridge and I will grab the one that I made up ahead of time for you to show you what that looks like. So this one I've already garnished with my extra fruit. Can you guys see that? So I'll just bend this down and you can see, isn't that pretty? So I just added more carrots, pineapple, coconut, and some pecans on top. and then it looks pretty and it tastes good and it's just can eat extra. So in this little jar this is a Weck jar, and I'm sorry I don't have the lid out here to show you, but it's one of those lids that you put on. It has these two silver prongs that hold the top on. So it's a cute, like it's a little bit different shape than your mason jar, and it's just, I don't know, I think they're really cute. So I like to use them for parfaits, or I do a chia seed pudding, which is really good, and they're just really cute and pretty. So I do have, in the description of this video, I have the carrot cake overnight oats recipe. If you go to my website and search overnight oats or search refrigerator oatmeal, all of my different ones will come up. And I also have in the description just a link to my Amazon store, and I have these jars and mason jars and just some other things. I'm slowly kind of adding into that and building on, but just things that I enjoy using in my kitchen. And so the way that works with Amazon is when you click through on my link, then they just give me a little bit of a kickback for referring you over to Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it keeps my coffee brewing. I mean, it keeps my website running, so that I can continue to give you free recipes and deliciousness. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you guys have a wonderful Good Friday and a wonderful Easter if you celebrate that. And I should be back next week. And oh yes, one last thing. I do have also in the description, if you want to join my cooking club, if you like to get recipes in your email box each week, I send out recipes and tips and tricks. So you are welcome to sign up for that. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you decide, hey, it's not working for me, then you can always unsubscribe for it. So no big deal. So you guys have an awesome weekend, Good Friday, Easter, everything. And I will see you next time. Take care.